Hello everyone and welcome back. In our last couple videos we learned how to get this player capsule to walk back and forth using physics. We learned how to get it to jump as well as to double jump without taking off like a rocket. And we also learned how to get it to jump and then even as velocity increases as it falls, have that second jump work with full power. In this video what we're going to do is learn how to get it to run. So let's start by looking here at our player move FSM. And currently our move FSM is pretty simple. We're just getting the horizontal axis, multiplying it, saving it, and then setting the velocity of the character to what we've saved. And the biggest difference between walking and running is that one is slower than the other. So I'm just going to start by adding another state. And to keep these straight, we'll call this first one key listener walk, and we'll call the second one key listener run. And so now we have two states that we can control separately. Typically a run cycle is either toggled or held down. So I need a way to get from this state to this state. So let's do this with a get key down. So get key down, add that to the state, and it says what key. I'm going to use the left shift key for my sprint. And then I need to send an event, which I don't have yet, so I'm going to make one and say send run. And it's giving us the warning that we're not using it, so I can click and it will add it over here. And then I'm getting a warning that we're not connecting it, so if I connect it, the other warning will go away. So now if I simply hit play, I can walk, and when I hit shift, you'll notice that we jump to this state. Now it's not being told to do anything, and it isn't being told to come back either, but you can tell that it's working, and that yes indeed it does break out of the get access and set velocity cycle. And so the other thing we need from here, we need to get key up. So let's just add that right now. We've got get key up right here. And basically what we want to happen is the same key. Let's use the left shift key. Right here. So now when I get that key up, I need to send a new event, and I don't have one, so I'm going to say send walk. And it's telling me I'm not using it. Click and add it. It's giving me a warning that it's not connected, so I'm going to connect it. So basically now what I have is the shift key will let me toggle to and from these two states. So if I want, I can walk. If I hit shift, my walk, whoops, let me try that again so I'm not flying off the edge. If I walk and I hit shift, as long as I'm holding shift down, I no longer can walk because I'm not setting any velocity or anything in this cycle. But if I let shift off, I'm back into my walk cycle. So shift is definitely toggling me in and out. So that's working perfectly. Okay, so let's talk about how to set our speed. Right now, I'm currently using this multiplier, and it's a constant, so it's not very dynamic. And if I wanted to change the speed on the fly, I could make it easier on myself by using a variable. I could have a walk speed variable and a run speed variable. I could just have a move speed variable that gets set at the beginning of each of these states. But for the most versatility, what I'm going to do here is in my walk state, I'm going to create a new variable, and I'll call this walk speed. And let me put a space in it so it's a little easier to read. Excuse me, underscore. And I also know basically getting this access and setting this velocity right here, I also need these two things to happen in my run state. I just need them to happen faster, so I'm going to paste them over here. So instead of my running state being set to walk speed, I want this one set to run speed. And I want to do that every frame. and I want to move my character by that amount every frame until I let the shift key up, in which case I want to jump back into my walking speed. Excellent. Right now I don't have any values for these variables. Both my run speed, you'll notice, is 0, and my walk speed is 0. So let's give them some default values. I'll set my walk speed value to 10, and I will set my run speed value to, say, 15 for now. And that's all we need, really. It should work just perfectly at this point. And what we now have is these two variables that, say I walk into tar, I could say, oh, my walk and my run speed are now 5 and 15, and then when I'm out of the tar I can set them back up. Or I could pick up a speed boost and it could set my running speed to something even higher than its normal 15. And so these variables are kind of nice. Let's test it. Let's see what we got here. So if I press the button I can walk, and if I press the button and hold shift I definitely do sprint. And if I let off, let me make my ground walkway a little bigger so I can run a little bit further. And so I can sprint and let off, and sprint and let off. So running's working awesome. And all I have to do to change my walk speed or my run speed is just play with those two variables, and we're good to go. Hope that's helpful. In the next video I'm going to talk about kill zones and some of the other things we need to do to get this side scroll game up and working.